Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the newest form of cooking available in appliances today, which is the induction form of electric cooking. So the main difference compared to, first of all, gas, is gas, obviously when we turn it on, generates a flame, which gives us an immediate radiant effect straight onto the base of your saucepan. The old style of electrics were electric elements generating heat and then of course radiating that heat directly into the base of the pan. So what we have is, instead of a radiant style of cooking where we're actually generating the heat up into the pan, we're now turning on an induction hot plate the actual pan into our element by the magnetic field agitating the iron molecules in the base of this pan. So what I can demonstrate to you here is with a pot that's been filled up to 3 litres of water and of course is cold, we can turn this hot plate on here and generate immediately with 3 litres of water, which is quite a large amount of water in that pot, a very fast boiling time. What I might do is just turn my stopwatch on so we can actually see how long that takes, because we might try it on the gas one over here in a minute. The advantage of the electric induction style of cooking is we have 18 different levels of power available, so I can have it as low as I want, where I can still leave my hand inside the pan and be melting chocolate, or I can go right up and be boiling water. And we can see here that this pot of water, if I was doing my pasta at night time, we've already got plenty of bubbles forming inside, and it's only just about to tick over 2 minutes, and this pot is nearly boiling. So in about 2.5 minutes we will have brought 3 litres of water to boil in this pot. And the amazing thing is, you can see my hands are sitting right up close to this pot. The glass itself is cold. The only heat that is available here is via the pot itself, and any heat that comes into the glass is actually being generated by the pot back into the glass, not from the glass up into the pot in the traditional style of cooktops. And a nice advantage we see with this form of cooking is that I can, as this comes to the boil, slide some paper towel between the pot and the actual glass. And of course on a gas or a radiant style electric, we would see that this particular paper towel would catch on fire, but we'll see it'll just allow this to come to boil now nice and fast. And we'll take the paper towel out shortly and see that there is actually no scorch mark, nothing on the base of this pot. I'm going to just show you how fast the induction responds by just turning that off right now. So I've turned that off. The water is now immediately coming away from the boil and we have no boiling water. At the same point in time, I'm just going to turn that back onto the full boil. Bear in mind our paper is still beneath the pot. You can see how fast that came straight back to the boil. If I lift my pot off the actual surface of the cooktop, there is no, of course, magnetic field here. You can see my hand is now on the surface of the glass. The piece of paper towel is there. I have no burn mark on the paper towel, which is just quite amazing if you just saw how fast this is burning. As soon as I slide my pot back in contact, the magnetic field is re-engaged, and automatically, without having to touch the buttons, my pot is boiling again. And as we were seeing before, I have no heat spread, no danger on this surface. And I've got a wet sponge over here, so if I boiled my milk over, or I had a bit of oil that had spilled out of the pot on the side, I could just move my pan out of the road, come over here with a wet sponge, and I'll just move that so you can see it, and we'll actually have the ability to immediately wipe that down and have no burning. I'm not burning my sponge. I can touch this, even though it's been boiling. It's quite hot, but not hot to burn. So what we have is the safest form of cooking available in an actual cooktop. And again, I'll just pop that straight back there. The magnets will re-engage and that pan will come back to the boil. Compared to gas, where we are actually isolating our heat or concentrating our heat directly to a certain location. If I was to bring over a fry pan with a nice broad base, because I've got the magnetic particles in the base of this pot all the way across, and my magnetic field can actually affect the whole base of the pot, I get a beautiful even spread of temperature right across the whole base of this fry pan. And so what that leads to is very, very even cooking, very, very even heat distribution, and that is certainly a result we're looking for. When we're using gas and the gas flame is on, we have a very concentrated style of heat that tends to generate obviously hot spots in the middle of much bigger and broader fry pans. To demonstrate the difference between the speeds of induction versus the gas, what I've got here now is the same pot with the same 3 litres of water, and we're going to now turn that on to maximum. This is the most powerful domestic gas cooktop we have in the store. I'll just start my stopwatch. With a 22 megajoule gas burner here, we have, as I say, the most powerful level here to try and bring this pot, same pot as we saw over here, up to boil. So I'm going to leave that go now and just see what sort of time it takes to get that up to the boiling time. So here we are, we're nearly at 9 minutes, and this is just starting to come to the boil. But I think we've pretty much clearly proven that the efficiency of the induction driving the heat via the iron molecules in the base of the pan is a much more efficient and much more effective way of getting speed and safety and efficiency through your cooking surface, whereas the gas certainly is taking a lot longer and we're wasting a lot of energy up the side of this pan and not having the same effectiveness.